What's up, Heather?
Hi, John.
What's going on?
Well, I'm a mom of 4 kids, and my youngest, we're technically empty nesters, but we've got 3 living at home with us right now. And my daughter...
You're not an empty nester at all, Heather.
Yeah. My daughter is in a relationship with a young man, and they've been dating for just over a year. And when they first started dating and it was looking like it was getting serious, I stressed to her that she needed to have some tough conversations with him and be willing to have uncomfortable conversations. One of those is addictions, and most specifically pornography. And
is this guy addicted to pornography?
I don't know. It's hard to know what addicted means because so many people that I've talked to have different opinions about pornography and different perspectives on, well, if it's every once in a while, that's not an addiction. And for me as a mom of daughters, and I've known enough women who have suffered and their marriages and relationships have just fallen apart because of pornography. And my daughter has been with this guy now for a year, and she's hiding it from us.
How do you know?
Because there has been signs of isolation.
Whoa!
And
no. If you're gonna lodge this grenade, like throw this grenade at this young man, I need some very specific details.
Okay, so last year, after I said you need to have a conversation with him about these things,
okay,
she came home and said he acknowledges that he has viewed pornography.
Okay,
and
I think 98% or 99% of men in the United States of America have viewed pornography at one time or another.
Right.
Okay, so that makes him every single man ever. Go ahead.
Right. So then I said, okay, how much, how often, how frequently?
How old is your daughter?
22.
Why are you grilling her like this? Like, it's like you're putting this boy on trial. And I get that I've got a daughter too. I want to protect my daughter.
It's more, it sounds like I'm grilling her. During the time of the conversation, it was over the course of about 3 weeks.
Okay.
As I'm trying to learn and I'm trying to understand about this realm that I don't know enough about.
Okay, but what I'll tell you is, here's what you've created. She will never come to you with other things. I've worked with this age group my entire career. You've created a world where she now knows I'm going to get 30 questions. She's going to judge. She's going to come to conclusions. She's going to start putting on these glasses and looking at me and my boyfriend or my future kids or whatever. I will never bring her stuff. So when you tell me she's hiding, 1,000% yes.
Oh, I know.
But you created that context with your daughter. Instead of her coming back and saying, Mom, he admitted to looking at pornography, and you sitting down and saying, let's go get coffee, and saying, tell me about that.
No, that is what I did.
Okay.
That is what I did. We had I didn't react immediately. I just so how'd you feel about that? And, where do you see this going? Okay. And if you're okay with that, and
you did not say that, Heather. You did not say, well, if you're okay with that, then cool, we'll support you.
No, I didn't say if you're okay with the pornography. I said, okay, if you're okay with his answer, you've got to figure this out. This is your relationship, and, we're here for you. And at the time she wasn't living at home with us. She was away. And now she's come home and they've gotten more serious, and there is we are relatively hands-off parents.
Okay.
And so we have tried to allow our kids to make their mistakes. The concern that comes is when their relationship has now become, he doesn't ever want to be around us. And we literally have never, like, I've tried to be a very conscious parent to give my kids the space that they need to grow.
Okay.
And what you're hearing right now is the culmination of a year of, am I ignoring red flags? And, oh, no, this is not my job. Just, she's 22. This is not my job. I've done my job, and now I'm just cheering on, and I'm a spectator whenever they want to involve me.
So what's the core issue? That this young man might become your son-in-law and she doesn't want you around?
The core issue for me is how can I help her see that being with a guy who uses and views pornography is not going to lead to a successful relationship?
How do you know that he's still using and viewing pornography to this day, a year later, after they had a conversation about it?
Because I saw a page in her journal. I did not search it out. It was there, and it was open.
Okay. And what did the journal say?
As soon as I saw it, it said he admitted to me that he was using porn again.
Okay.
And the again was what real, and I was like, I got to get out of this room. I was putting laundry away. You know what I mean? It was.
I know, but your kids are living in your house, and that's the choice they made, and that's the risk they made. And I'm going to get a lot of hate on the internet for saying this, but they're choosing to live in their mom's house instead of have their own place, and it's your home, and they are subject to your rules and regulations in your home. And so you read her journal and learned some stuff.
And that's what has.
It is what it is. So you found out and you know. Okay, so let's just deal with what you know. We can talk about that another time, but the language here is pretty instructive for me. Okay, what do I mean by that? Yesterday was a really hard day for me, professionally and personally. I had to have a hard conversation with a group of people about the loss of a dear friend. I had a slate of shows. I had some personal stuff at home. I had hours and hours of radio and podcast. I got home last night and I was exhausted. I'm also in the middle of a pretty intense weight cut. And this morning I came to the office and I'm kaput. And I grabbed out of a snack bag some of the gummy candies. And if I was to text my wife, and like I'm not hiding anything, of course, but she could write in her journal, my husband's using gummy candies again because he's not doing well. Is that the same as pornography? No. But it doesn't mean that I'm an addict and that I have a pattern of behavior over and over and over again. It means I'm back going through a tough time. And the fact that she used the language that I think is instructive, which is he slipped up. He had came to me and said he's struggling again. If I was talking to him, I would be adamant about him finding some different outlets than pornography. But if you back up, what do we want from our spouses when they're hurting and struggling? We want them to come to us and say, hey, I screwed up again and I'm sorry. And for a young dating couple, for a 22-year-old boy to come back to a girl that he loves and that he wants to spend the rest of his life with, and they've had this conversation before, for him to be honest and say, hey, I messed up. I'm doing something I don't want to do again, and here's what's going on. Yeah, I'm going to be heartbroken about the pornography part, and I'm going to tell him, dude, it's not good for your brain, it's not good for your marriage, it's not good for your future family, but good on you for having the courage to come tell the person you want to spend the rest of your life with that you're hurting and you messed up. It may be that your daughter's doing a pretty darn good job. Is that possible?
Of course, all things are possible.
Right.
It's like what you just pointed on. It's not good for your brain. It's not good for your heart. It's not good for your family. All of those things, to me, far outweigh the good on you for talking to your girlfriend.
I got it.
I don't. Does that make sense? It's
Yeah.
like they haven't even had kids yet. They haven't made any commitment to get married yet. They haven't, there's, if this was the only flag, okay.
Now we're in it. What's your real problem with this boy?
My problem with the boy is my daughter doesn't see that she has worth.
There you go. Let's be honest about what we're upset with here. Yes, is pornography going to get us fired up? Of course it would. Of course. You don't like this guy.
I don't like that she tolerates.
Nope. Let's take away her for a second. You don't like this guy. Just be honest about that. That's okay. There will be people that my kids date that I will not like. And I'm not going to shy away from that. Does he not treat her with dignity and respect?
Not if he's viewing pornography.
All right,
that is not treating a girl with dignity and respect.
Go beneath it.
Yeah.
Go beneath that. What's beneath that? What have you seen in their dynamic that makes you sick to your stomach?
He has isolated her from our entire family.
How so?
So that she spends 90% of her time with him and his family because he thinks our family's not good enough.
Has he said that?
He's told her, I don't like being around your family.
You don't like him. I don't like being around people that don't like me, Heather. Have you ever said, hey, young man, you might be in my life again. I want to take you out for coffee? Has your husband ever reached out and said, let's go fishing?
We have tried.
And he just says no?
He always finds an excuse to not come.
Okay, so here's where we are globally speaking. You have made up your mind about him. And there's a period at the end of that sentence. The question you have to ask yourself is, do I have the courage and the integrity to sit down with my daughter and say, hey, I saw your journal. I know this guy's struggling, and I know you're in love with him. I don't like what he's done to you. I don't like how he talks about us. Partridge in a pear tree. If you ever want an outlet, I'll be here for you. And we can't stand by and watch you marry him. So if you choose to marry him, if you choose to be a part of this thing and accept this thing, here's going to be our boundaries and our consequences. Otherwise, every time she's around you, she's going to know that she's going to be able to detect in her guts, Mom doesn't approve of me. And kids take that feeling and they make it their fault. And some kids try to be perfect. Some kids turn into the clown. And some kids just disappear because they can't carry that weight. But you've cast judgment on this young boy. Period. Okay. You have to decide what you and your family are going to do next. Because right now you're just spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning. There's not a conversation you can have with her about the psychology or the neurology of pornography. I know it's bad. She knows it's bad. Her boyfriend clearly knows it's bad because he apologized to her, says he's struggling again. You know it's bad. Everybody knows it's bad. It's not a science conversation. That's not the deal. The deal is you do not like this guy and you do not like her with him. Have you told her that?
I just don't like their dynamic.
I know, but have you told her that?
I've told her I have concerns. Because we haven't been able to, in our attempts to try to get to know him, he has distanced himself more and more and pulled her with him and made it that we are the ones that are the problem. That our house is the problem, that our family is the problem.
And you feel like you're losing your daughter?
I know I am.
Okay. Is there a chance that he's not pulling her as much as she's going with him?
He's very needy. And she is one of the biggest hearted people. And with other dynamics in our family, it's nice to feel needed.
Yeah.
I understand that. I just see her thinking.
Okay.
Without realizing that she has chosen to think with him.
Then as a parent, and this is just me talking parent to parent here, if I'm watching my kid drown, I'm either going to speak now or forever hold my peace. And I, for one, am somebody, as you can probably tell, I will speak. And I will, in a non-judgmental, not about him way, because the way you just ended that conversation is really important. It's not about him. It's about your daughter. You're losing your daughter. And for whatever reason, your daughter's choosing to be around him and not around y'all. For whatever reason, her body feels safer in that dynamic than it does in your home dynamic. And I know as a parent that could be devastating to hear and to see that happening in real time. Maybe he's highly manipulative and highly abusive. And if so, you as mom, you better get involved and sit down and tell your daughter, I love you and I see this happening to you. And if you want an out, I'm right here. But the more you hang on trying to find a thing that you can go, see, there it is. That's why we don't want him with you. Like pornography, like, man, that's just not going to be the thing. And now you've got this secret between you because you read her journal or stumbled upon her journal, whatever. And you're going to have to be the one that bridges that gap. I know, sweetheart, I know. And this is also a great time, Heather, for you to talk about situations that you may have experienced with your husband over the years or people you dated in the past as a way to say, honey, daughter, 22, 23-year-old daughter, I've been there too. And the reason this is so hard for me is I've been there too. And she may look at you and say, yeah, I choose him for now. I choose him. And it is so heartbreaking. But hear me as clearly as I can. If any child feels like it's just not wise, it's a pain in the butt, it's not safe, whatever word you want to use to talk openly here, they're going to disappear. If your kids are dating somebody, this isn't just you, Heather, this is everybody listening. If your kids are dating somebody and you hate that person will not come around you. Period. They won't, because they know they're not liked. They know they're not wanted. And if somebody always is coming up with excuses not to be around you, then jump right square in the middle of that. And if they still don't want to be around you, then they've made their grown-up decision. I hate this for you, Heather. I know it feels like you're losing your daughter, and in a way you are. She's 23. It's time. This is natural. In fact, it's a little bit late that kids start pulling away. But it's time for you to stop talking at her as though she's still 14, and you have to switch from I can tell you what to do to, honey, I'm going to tell you some stuff about my childhood that you don't know, and I've been there too. And I'll walk with you. And if you choose to do this door will always be open. Or it won't be open. You get to pick your boundaries. And for everybody listening, yes, pornography is not good. Y'all know that. But man, oh man, I'm doing everything I can right now to let both my kids know. It's not a thing you can do. There's not a place you can go. There's not trouble you can find yourself in. That A, I'm not going to tell you the truth. That B, I won't come get you, and C, that front door will not always be open and there won't be a bed here unless you're an active threat to the safety of this home. Period. Thanks for the call, Heather. I know this is a heavy one.